always take them to their appointments. You get transportation back and forth to your medical appointments. Vehicle modifications. If you're in a situation that you've lost usage of a limb, your vehicle has to be modified somehow to accommodate you. Whether it's somebody who, if you're wheelchair bound and you have to get a vehicle now that has a ramp, so you can get a ramp up in your vehicle, they're responsible for that. If the vehicle needs modified itself to help you drive the vehicle, they're responsible for that. So these are some of the things that you wouldn't necessarily think of, off the top of your head when you're talking about medical expenses, but they all fall under this umbrella. Home modifications is a huge one. If you have somebody who, they have to have their home modified because they're in a wheelchair, ramp up to their house, doorways widened to accommodate a wheelchair. I've had a case recently, somebody in a wheelchair, all their cupboards were up high, so they had to move everything, they had to modify their home to move everything from up high to down low, so they could reach everything. That's in there. Things that, unless you've ever been in a situation, you don't think about. I know I never thought about this one, but even making rooms bigger to modify turning radiuses for wheelchairs, to be able to get in your rooms and work and move in your rooms. Bathroom modifications, walk-in showers, all that kind of stuff is all included in no fault, which again is something that you may not think about as something that you're entitled to. In-home nursing care, if you have to have somebody come out to provide assistance, and then some of the ones that you commonly would think of, like reimbursing mileage if you drive to your appointments, prescriptions, different types of therapy. One of the other ones that is often overlooked too, which is a huge perk of no-fault benefits, is vocational retraining. If you have somebody who their whole life they were a laborer, they ran a landscaping company, and that's what they did their entire life up until the time of their accident. And now they're in this accident, they can't use their arms as well anymore, they can't use their legs as well anymore. But they're fit to get back into the workforce, and they want to get back in the workforce. Under our current no-fault system, they can get paid vocational retraining to teach them how to use a computer, to teach them how to do other job skills that may be able to fit their physical limitations. That's something that's in your no-fault package. So just in the medical benefit umbrella alone, you're looking at a huge array of benefits that are all fantastic benefits and really, really help people that are involved in accidents to get the care they need, modifications they need to continue to live their quality of life in their homes, their vehicles, and then get retrained if necessary to get back into the workforce. So it's a huge, huge package of benefits, and a lot of those are not benefits that people tend to think about when they talk about medical expenses, but these all fall under the medical umbrella of no-fault benefits. Huge, huge package of benefits. Wages. So they're responsible to pay wages for 3 years after the accident. That way you have your income coming in so that you can pay your bills, so that you're not going to lose your house if you have a mortgage, so that your electricity is going to stay on, your gas is going to stay on. You're going to get your income coming in. They're responsible to pay for that for the 3 years after the accident. What they pay is they pay 85% of your gross wages. And the reason they don't pay 100% of your gross wages is because when they knock off the 15% off the bat, that means then when that wage loss check comes to you, it's non-taxable income. So they withhold 15% off the bat, and then when you get the check for your wage loss in the mail, it's non-taxable income, so you're not paying taxes on that. They're responsible to pay for that up to 3 years after the accident. It applies if you just have a part-time job, if you have a seasonal job, if you only worked in the summertime. You're entitled to get paid your wage loss benefits if you're out during the summertime. So it's, wages obviously are huge unless, you have the financial ability to support yourself and you're out for a long period of time. Wage loss benefits are really, really important. Retirees, depending on, they may be entitled to some type of wage loss compensation. If you're retired but you have like a side job that you picked up, to keep active, stay busy, your wife told you to go get a job if you're retired. If you're a retiree and you have a job, in that situation, you're entitled to get your wage loss compensation for that. So again, it's an important benefit. Another benefit that you have under no-fault benefits, they're called replacement services. So in a situation with replacement services, these again, it's for 3 years. You're good for 3 years after the accident, so long as you need them. Replacement services are things like your household chores. So if you and your household are responsible for taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, doing the dishes and making the beds in your home. And after the accident, you can't do it, so now your spouse has to do it for you, or maybe you have a friend or family member that's coming over to do it for you. Those folks are entitled to reimbursement. They get paid $20 a day in reimbursement. That can be important too, because in situations like that, you know, for those who like to keep strangers out of their home, instead of having like a home service, like a home health aide come in and do that kind of stuff for you, no-fault benefits provide the opportunity for friends or family to come in and do those things for you. Even if, you know, even if they have no experience in doing these things. The reason I say that is because under the medical umbrella, there's also something called attendant care, which is super, super important. I may have glossed over it on that list. But attendant care is if you need help at home to take care of yourself. For instance, if you need help bathing, you need help dressing, changing bandages, getting in and out of bed, somebody to watch your medications for you, to help take care of your medications. Under our no-fault system, you can have a friend or family member provide that for you. And that way you can keep, strangers out of your house, so to speak. You can have a friend or family member doing it for you, and they're required to be reimbursed for that. And what they're reimbursable up to is they're required to be paid the same hourly rate that a home health care worker makes in your county. So even if they have no experience, even if they've never been trained, don't have any certifications in a home health aide, doesn't matter. Under our no-fault benefits, that person, as long as they're providing the care for you, and it's recommended that you need the care by a doctor, it's part of it. It's part of your no-fault package. So that's important too. Part of where I see that as being, really, really helpful is folks that have traumatic brain injuries. You have some folks who have brain injuries and they need round-the-clock care, or at least need monitored around the clock. What it does is it allows that person to stay in their home as opposed to having to be moved out of their home, moved into some type of a home to be taken care of. They can stay in their house, they can get the same care that they need in their house where they're familiar, as opposed to being shipped off to some home for folks with brain injuries, and so it lets them stay at home, get the care they need from the people they know. And that can be really important, and it allows the friends and family to do that for them because they're making money doing it. So they can afford, in a lot of times, to take the time off of work, so many hours a day to help out, because they're being compensated for it. So that's another really, really big benefit that no-fault provides. We talked about you're entitled to these benefits irrespective of fault. So regardless of who's at fault for the accident, you still get these benefits. And then this is important as well. So when you're involved in a motorcycle accident, motorcycles, like we talked about, are treated differently than motor vehicles. They're not considered motor vehicles for purposes of no-fault. So one of the areas where that makes a difference is in who pays your no-fault benefits if you're involved in a motorcycle accident. So if you're involved in a motorcycle accident, the first place you're going to look to get your no-fault benefits paid is going to be the insurer, the owner, or the registrant of the motor vehicle involved in your accident. So the car, truck, bus, whoever it was that was involved in your accident. Their insurance company pays first. That's super, super important, and I'll tell you why in a minute when we talk about Beau LaFave's bill. That's important. If it turns out that the insurer of the owner or registrant of the motor vehicle involved in the accident does not have insurance, so if you get hit by an uninsured driver, then the second priority is you look at the insurer of the driver of the motor vehicle. If the driver had no insurance, then it bounces down to the motorcycle operator's auto insurance. Not your motorcycle insurance, but your car insurance. Your car insurance is third in line to pay for it. If you don't have car insurance and you were driving somebody else's bike, then it's the motorcycle owner's auto insurance. If they didn't have any insurance, then it goes to the motorcycle operator's spouse, or if you lived in the same house as a relative living in the home with you, then your relative's insurance pays for it. And if you go through this long list of insurers, and it happens sometimes, and you go through this long list and nobody has insurance, there was no insurance all around, this is another perk of Michigan, you will always get your no-fault benefits taken care of. If you go through this long list, you're kind of going down the list, nobody had insurance that would apply to your accident, then what happens in Michigan is it goes to what's called the assigned claims facility, where your claim gets submitted to Lansing. You submit an application to Lansing, and then as a side of doing business in Michigan, every auto insurance company in Michigan is required to participate in this assigned claims facility. And what they do is they'll put your application in with the assigned claims plan. Then they have the lottery. You know, they have all the different insurance companies in a big pool. They'll draw one out of a hat for your claim, and whoever they pick just won the opportunity to process your no-fault claim. So that's how it works in Michigan. So you'll always get your no-fault benefits paid for. So it's a system that you can rely on that way. So this brings us now to, so now that's what no-fault is. Okay, so if you ever hear anybody talking about, you know, what do you get in no-fault benefits, or what does no-fault cover, that's what it covers. It covers a lifetime of medical, lifetime of home modifications, vehicle modifications, vocational retraining, people coming into your home to take care of you. If you decide to have an agency come in to provide that attendant care, that's okay too. They'll have to pay for the agency like as a medical expense. 3 years worth of lost wages, 3 years worth of replacement services. Huge, huge package of benefits. What the insurance industry has been doing is they've been proposing bills where they want to try to cap benefits. They want to cap different areas of what we talked about. What I can pass around for you is, so Beau LaFave, is everybody familiar with Mr. LaFave?
Yeah.
He's a representative in your area. I think he's for Dickinson County, Delta County, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. But he's a rep from up here. House Bill 4024 is the bill that he's proposed. And what's being passed around right now is a statement that I drew up on behalf of ABATE Michigan, which for those of you that don't know is the driving force in Lansing as far as motorcycle rights go. They're the most well-known group in Lansing. They've got the most pull in Lansing. They've got the most ears of legislators in Lansing than any other motorcycle rights organization in the state of Michigan. It all started with the helmet